Well, hello and welcome, or welcome back to That Girl's Quilting Threads and Things. My name's Diana, and this is a channel where I try to share with you, the viewer, tips and tricks on things that I have learned along my way in my quilting journeys. I'm not a professional, I am a hobbyist, and I love it so much. So hopefully some of those things that I've learned, you'll be able to learn here on this channel as well. All right, so today is round 7 of Walk Around the World with Great Grandmother Savita. This is a beautiful repeating pattern that I really love. I've used my great grandmother's scrap fabrics to create this 3-dimensional perspective quilt project. All right, so without further ado, we are in round 7. Let's go see what fabrics we need and what components we're going to make. So for round 7, we're going to go ahead and start with our focus fabric. So your focus fabric E, you're going to need 8. For focus fabric F, you'll also need 8. And then for focus fabric G, this is a little bit different. You're actually going to need 12. And the reason why is I didn't want to have 4 cornerstones of a completely different color that had not been inside the quilt before. So for our flying geese here, you're going to have top and bottom combinations. You'll be making 4 flying geese in each of these combinations. So this is your accent fabric K and your background fabric N. This is going to make up the top half of your chevron unit. Your bottom half is going to be made up of your background fabric O and your accent fabric K as your sky. Next we have our second set of chevrons. The top half is going to be made of background fabric O, so you'll need 8 small squares and 2 large squares of your accent fabric L. 8 flying geese for the bottom half. Your sky piece is going to be 8 squares of fabric L and 2 large squares of your background fabric N. Then for your next set of chevrons, you're going to make 8 flying geese with accent fabric M as in Mike, and your sky pieces, you'll cut 8 of those out, and this is your dark background fabric. So this is going to be O. The bottom half of these chevron units are going to be made with your peak fabric from your light background fabric of N. And your sky pieces are going to be 8 squares of your accent fabric M as in Mike. Then you're going to have a reverse combination. For your second set of flying geese, you'll be making 8 using your accent fabric M in this combination. The top half is going to be your peak fabric M, and your sky pieces will be in as in November. And then the bottom half of the chevron unit is going to be made, your peak fabric will be background fabric O, using your accent fabric M for your sky pieces, 8 squares. All right, so we have a lot of flying geese to make in this project this round. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, we're ready to go ahead and start building our flying geese for round 7. So I'll just show you the basics of putting your flying geese together. So in this combination here, this is my top flying geese unit, and this is my bottom. This is what will make up one chevron. So I'll take one of my peak units, and I'll take 2 of my sky pieces. And for all of my sky pieces, before I actually sew everything together, I'm going to draw lines on everything and prep them up. This is just to show you the basic steps on preparing your flying geese for that 4 at a time, no waste method. So you take 1 peak unit and your sky and 2 sky pieces. Draw a line on the back of your sky pieces, corner to corner diagonally. Then you're going to pin, put it in place on one corner, Make sure your edges are flush, and that they're not sticking out, and pin it in place. All right, once you've got that first one attached, then take your second sky piece and put it in the opposing corner, making sure, same thing, that your edges are flush, okay? And pin it in place. So you should see one single line going from corner to corner across both of your sky pieces. All right, then I'm going to feed my phase 1 flying geese units through where my top sky piece is going through first. Once you go through this one here and it hits this bottom sky piece, it's going to help anchor it down and keep it in place. I will stitch 1/4 inch or a scant 1/4 inch, quilter's choice. I find that a scant 1/4 inch has given me a little bit more room for more accurate flying geese than doing an exact 1/4 inch. All right, so you sew 1/4 inch on each side of your drawn line, come back, cut it right down the center on your drawn line. And then we'll show you how to do the second phase. All right, so once you've attached your first two squares onto your large square, go ahead and make a cut right down that center line. Go ahead and give these a good press. So once they're pressed, they'll look kind of like these little cat silhouettes here. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your other 2 remaining squares and you're going to go ahead and pin them one right side down. Line it up. All right, so there and there. All right, there's one. Let me do the other. Pin it in place. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this back to the sewing machine, and I'm going to feed it through the sewing machine this point here first. Now you can do a scant 1/4 inch, which in some cases will give you a little bit extra wiggle room. I find that to have been very helpful for me. All right, and then I will simply, once I've chain stitch these 2 together, I'll cut them and I'll feed them again through the same direction. So I'll start at the top and I'll come back down on the right side and finish up there. All right, so these are ready to go to the sewing machine, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to pair them together. So once you've got your final squares sewed on, you'll simply take and cut right down the middle, corner to corner on the diagonal. All right, and you'll have your flying geese. So it'll look like that. So all of your chevron units are going to be made with your accent fabric. So your background fabrics will be the top and bottom, and then your accent fabric will make up the actual chevron. According to the pattern, you'll take your flying geese for the top half of your chevron, where your accent fabric is the peak, and you'll use the flying geese where your accent fabric is the sky unit, and that will make up the bottom half of your chevron. And so when you put them together like this, right, you can see you have a nice little chevron unit. So go ahead and pair up all of your flying geese and put your chevron units together. Now once you've put all of your chevron units together, you're going to want to look at your pattern and the layout, and you're going to want to go ahead and place your chevron units and your focus fabric units in order. So now the quilt project is quite large, so you should see here, instead of me showing you the actual units themselves because the screen is too small for it. Okay, so for round 7, I just wanted to make sure that I kind of made clear on why I have 2 rows of the same accent fabric. So for these last sets of focus fabric in round 6 and round 7, right, I have orangish yellow brown, right? That's kind of how it is. And instead of introducing another or a new accent fabric, I just kind of wanted it to all be that way. So you'll notice that in round 7 you have 2 different sets of chevrons for your focus fabric complementing your orange and brown fabric. So that is your second and last focus fabric squares on the on round 7 row. All right, so hopefully that sounds clear. I feel like this here just closes up the quilt a little bit better. Let's go ahead and get these rounds attached to the quilt. Ta-da! We are finally done with round 7 of Walk Around the World with Great Grandmother Savita. This project consisted of a total of 225 units altogether. It's 60 by 60 with 15 units high, 15 units across, and each one of the units are 4 inches finished. We have 113 pieces of focus fabric throughout, and we have, you can look at it 2 ways. We have 224 flying geese that make up 112 chevron units. This is a pattern that you can continue to add round after round after round. If you don't want it to be a really huge size, you can shrink the size of your units. Instead of using 4-inch squares, you can use 3-inch squares. So you would cut everything out at 3.5 inches. And you can add another round, introduce another focus fabric and another accent color, or you can start the process all over again so that you have not only a walk around the world, but you have a color rotation pattern going on. I like to kind of think that this is the pearl and we are the oyster. And this is a beautiful pearl that we have put together. If you have been following along with me on this journey and round by round, show me your pearls. Now that we've done round 7 and completed the quilt top project itself, there is a link in the description for the pattern itself. All you need to do is click on the link and request access. Unfortunately, I work full-time, so this kind of takes a little bit of a back seat, but I do try to get to them as quickly as possible. Also, I'll leave a link to the playlist as well, so that if you're just starting this project and this is your first video, you can go back to the playlist and you can watch each one of the videos for it where we introduce the fabrics that is needed, the cuts, and then we go round by round and we build this quilt top out. I want to thank you all very much for taking the time to watch this video and for joining me on this journey and walk around the world with Great Grandmother Savita. I love all the comments and feedbacks and the wonderful suggestions that our community provides for those. So if you have any to offer for today's video or for this project at all, please go ahead and put those comments in the discussion below. So until that next video or that next journey, may all of your quilting journeys be joyful, one stitch at a time.